Hi everyone, I'm your host Emma Burgic.
And I'm your co-host, Jose Camacho.
Whether you're a player or a coach,
or you're just passionate about what you do and you want to be the best at it,
this is the EMAzing Podcast for you. Today's episode is sponsored by MatchSet. MatchSet is an amazing company that provides players with incredible equipment and apparel. With MatchSet, equipment does matter, and they make sure it won't slow you down. Use code Tennis with Emma to get 10% of Match Tennis today. Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the EMAzing Tennis Podcast. Today with us we have Iris Harris. She is a great friend of mine and one of my mentors. She is a great person.
Thank you.
Most of all, and I'm really excited to have you today.
Same here, Emma. Thanks for having me.
I'm really excited. Are you excited?
I'm super excited.
Good. Okay. Jose has some fun stuff ready for us today. A little bit about Iris. She's originally from Romania, but she lives here in Florida. She's a high performance coach. She has 15 years of coaching experience. Before that, she was a very good player. She had to stop at a very young age because of the injuries. She was a top junior in the world. She played semifinals of the Junior Wimbledon, quarterfinals of Junior US Open, and French Open, which is amazing.
Thank you.
Played WTA top 500, 300 singles, doubles. Didn't play for long. Got injured, and since then she's been coaching, and she's been. She worked for John Mancaro Academy, some really high and prestigious academies, has a lot of experience really sharing her experience, playing experience and coaching experience to the players now and trying to help them become the best athletes, best tennis players they can be. And she's a part of the WTA Inclusion Program. So that's really exciting, a lot of exciting things to talk about today. And welcome, Iris.
Thank you, Emma. It's great to be here.
Good. Jose?
Yeah, I think it's great meeting you, Iris. This is the first time that I meet her. I think it's really cool because since I read, once you sent me her, resume, I feel like you guys have a really similar story. You know what I mean? And I can see how you guys are really good friends. And I think it's really interesting to see how, I don't know, everything how you stopped playing at a young age, but you guys are really passionate about the coaching side, but also kind of keep that athletic playing side still alive, right? With Emma trying to go back on tour, so that's really cool to have you both here, Bosnian Barbie and Iris over here. So yeah, we're gonna get started. We're gonna try to do this more often. We're gonna have a guest to do an icebreaker. Because I'm a little nervous. I'm not nervous until we start recording. I swear to God.
Why are you nervous?
This is his second podcast in the studio.
In the studio. It's so much lights
you
and
need to
everything.
stop missing the podcast as a co-host.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna get more comfortable, but I am a little bit nervous. So we're always gonna try to do an icebreaker to get more comfortable, and then we're gonna get started with the serious questions. So none of us are native English speakers. Her English sounds really good to me, really solid. So I don't know.
Yeah, she's been in America longer than I have.
So you don't have the winning silent. That'll be in a good spot.
Hey, you never know.
You never know.
She might be able to pronounce better than I do.
I think she's actually pretty good.
So the point here is not really knowing the words. The game is gonna consist in a 1 versus 1 of the hardest words that I could find on the internet. How to pronounce in English. It doesn't matter if you don't know what the word means or whatever. It's just about the pronunciation, and I'm gonna be the referee and see who pronounces it better. And I actually downloaded the actual proper pronunciation. So we have
Oh boy.
Yeah, so it's a fair game.
There we go.
So we're gonna go one by one. Let's start with Barbie first, and then we'll go with Iris.
Oh God.
They're tough, yeah. They get harder as well. Wait, I'm gonna show it to the camera first. I don't know if they're seeing it opposite or it's fine.
Synecdoche.
Synecdoche. Wow. That was wild.
Again.
No, I feel like you gotta stick with it first.
Yeah,
Synecdoche.
Synecdoche.
Similar, no? You said synecdoche and said synecdoche. The doche is what gets me. That seems crazy to me. Okay.
How would you pronounce that?
Synecdoche. Synecdoche? Synecdoche.
What does that even mean?
Here, I don't know idea. A figure of speech in which a part is made to represent the whole or vice versa. No clue.
Synecdoche.
Synecdoche. Not even close.
So who is it?
Synecdoche.
Synecdoche and no. So what did you say?
Synecdoche and synecdoche.
That's gotta be a tie. That's a tie. Yeah,
Oh my
that's
Let
a tie.
her start now.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, my
Oh,
turn.
I know that word.
Oh, here we go. Mischievous.
Mischievous. Okay.
Show it in the camera.
Okay. What the hell?
Mischievous.
You said the same.
Because it is. That is a
Okay.
word. Actually.
I have all of them. Yeah, here it is.
Mischievous.
Mischievous. That's a point for her because you
Whatever.
copycat.
But that's how I thought.
Mis-
I thought it was
mischievous.
mischievous.
Yeah, I thought so too. It's a tough one.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
What the actual? No, like how?
Oh wait, can they see it? Are they seeing it opposite or is it fine? They can read it. Okay.
I want to hear her say this one.
Worcestershire.
Okay.
Worcester.
Worcestershire. Worcestershire. This is a tough one. Here it is.
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
She was closer.
She was closer?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair game. Respect. Okay. This is pretty easy and then the last
Her
one. Oh yeah.
first.
Okay.
Anemone.
So I forgot to show it.
Anemone.
Neither of you got it. I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna say anemone.
Probably.
I think it's anemone.
Well, let's see if you got it.
Here it is.
He listened to them earlier.
Anemone.
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 Oh, you know what it is? It's the fish, like the thing that you know.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Who wins? No.
that's a tie. She's winning. 2-0. Right. This one is crazy.
No. Wait. Okay. Oh my God! Are you kidding me?
Just try your best.
How are you supposed to even read this? And I was actually pretty good in school.
You don't have to do it fast.
Okay. Entitis.
Entitis.
Entitis. Entitis. Entitis. Entitis.
I love how you're stuck in the first like 2 syllables of the word.
She's only repeated it 3 times.
Establishmentarianism. Okay. Anti-establishmentarism.
That's pretty good.
Anti-establishmentarism.
We get it. Okay.
Yeah, I think I won this one.
Antides establishmentarism. And
I think I'm gonna give it. I think I'm gonna be closer for him on this one.
Anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Yeah, you
Basically,
guys
I
missed
went.
the intarianism, but that was closer.
I went.
2-1. Last word.
so
So
long.
it's either you can take the lead, Emma, or you tie the lead,
Establishment.
or Iris wins.
Just
was
give
those
it, let her. She goes now.
Oh my. Wow. Okay.
Show it. Oh my God.
Wow. This is one word or two?
This is one word.
Like our whole
Oh my-
podcast is gonna go in
Wow. Okay. Hold on. I have to have enough breath to continue this word. Okay. Flossionacini helification.
Okay, not bad. This is the word. The last one.
That's so.
I'll hold it. I do better when I hold it. Hilly-pilly. Hilly-pillification. Flosinausini-hilly-pillification. Okay. Flosinausini-hilly-pillification.
Wow. That was insane.
Right?
That was pretty good.
Did
But
I
I don't
win?
think it's right. But it's pretty good.
Floxinaucinihilipilification.
I win.
I think you win. I think it's good too. Great stuff.
Good. I like this one.
Good job,
we're
ladies.
When we're, oh my God, that was intense. Jose.
Okay, let's get started.
Can you like Can we start actual
Yes,
questions?
let's get serious now.
Because
Let's
this,
get
like-
serious.
Okay.
With these tongue-tied, twisting words.
Yeah, you see, but it's a lot. I'm not
We're
nervous
gonna
now.
practice.
You know what I mean? Now I feel
Yeah,
comfortable.
I'm more nervous now.
Really?
Okay.
I feel amazing. Man.
Okay, here, you're asking the first question.
Okay. Oh yeah. So this one I'm really proud of, and I think it's a deep question that I really wanted to know the answer to, and I feel like it's not only in tennis, in a lot of sports, we often hear of like giving back to the game, right? Mm-hmm. We always say like coaches and players that I retire, like, yeah, but now it's time for me to give back to the game. So what does this mean to you? It's like a several part question. What does this mean to you? Why do you think it's important? And how do you think Iris has been giving back to the game of tennis? And how can other players or coaches in the future, do you think, can start giving back if they wanted to?
Well, basically, I think giving back means once you've come from a high level playing career and you've been around a lot of coaches and players who have had a lot of influence, you can come back and bring that to somebody who is looking to follow in those footsteps and make a name for themselves and see how far they can go, and being able to show them exactly what you've learned as a player and how you were influenced as a player from, mentally, physically, every little bit of information that you ever received from your mentors, and you're able to relate and give that information to the next player is huge. It's such a great thing to do, and it makes you feel like you're actually creating something better and passing it on to somebody else.
Great, that's fantastic. Yeah, and yeah, I think it's. I read it on your when Emma sent me a resume. Like one of the first words that stuck out was a mentor, right? That you're
Yes.
trying to mentor, which I think is huge because it's especially in individual sport. I feel like it's not in a bad way, but it's a selfish environment. You know what I mean? Like everything surrounds you, and like you can see it on players on tour. Everything is for them, right? So you have
Correct.
people working for them, and they do like talk about their team and thank their team, but everything is for them, and everything they do, their actions, it's all for their benefit. They're trying to see how they can become the best athlete. So I think it's very interesting when that switch happens to it's for others now. You know what I mean? It's for other kids, for other players that are trying to get there and trying to follow my footsteps, as you said.
Yeah, it's great to see them, and especially because you have ones that are so eager to learn, and then you want to give that information to them. You want to give them all the tools that you've had, the ones that were so sacred to you. Now you want them to have it only because they're so hungry and they want it and they want to succeed. You can't really share that information with the ones that are not really into it and they're not really willing to put in the work because it just gets lost.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then I'm jumping in, and then you're wasting your energy, and like
Correct.
you want it more than them.
Correct.
Right? But it's like, but I think a good coach needs to find a way to also get to that person, to try to find every way that you can until you see it's basically impossible, to find a way to like get to them, different ways to see how you can share your experiences, because maybe it's not that they really don't want it, right?
Correct.
But so you need to figure out how to get to them. And I've noticed sometimes you make that switch and then they change, and then it feels even better, and you feel like you really made an impact, you really succeeded there. You're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I turned this kid around or this person around or whatever.
I think it's also about trust, and the person also has to get a feel for you, and you have to kind of come down to like their level of, like, you have to empathize with their situation, with their with their mental status of where they are, where they want to be. Like you're looking at their growth, and for you to be actively listening and engaging with them, and actually really listening and knowing, okay, this is what I need. And it's not just about, I need to fix a forehand or I need to fix a backhand. No, I actually need, how do I not have jitters before I go on the court because I'm thinking that, my parents are, telling me this to do this, and you're overthinking. So it's like really understanding the player, but it's based on trust. I think it's all trust.
I agree. Trust is a big thing, and it's hard. It's hard to build that trust from the start, from the get-go, between the coach and the player. But once you have it, It's
great.
everything. And I feel like, and I don't know if you think the same, that and we spoke about this a little bit earlier, like, I feel like tennis players are constantly like thinking there's something better out there. Like there's a better
Constantly.
coach.
Constantly.
There's better somebody that can like tell you something better. Right?
It's a constant thing, and it's happening on every single level. It doesn't matter. It could be like
Right?
ITF level. It could be like pro
Yeah.
level. If they're very scared to invest in someone, because they're thinking, okay, let's just do this for a 2-month period and see where it's taking us. But they're not really invested in the coach, so they're with one foot in and one foot out. But it's happening on all levels, and that's why it's such a big gap in like having somebody there all the time, and coaches are constantly fluctuating in and out, and there's no consistency like it was before.
Yeah.
And I know I said I wasn't going to bring this up, but it just happened, and it's a great moment to bring it up. Like Emma Raducanu, I'm a big fan. Tough to follow that player because she's doing terrible lately, but she went through like 9 coaches in like I think a period of less than 2 years.
Oh yeah.
Which is, I think that leads us also to the next question about. So what do you think? It's crazy that at that level, right? Somebody that won the U.S. Open,
As a qualifier.
right? As a qualifier, like insane
Crazy.
story. What do you think is going on behind all that, like instability? Obviously, I'm guessing the instability on the coaching side is leading to the inconsistency in the results, right? Not the other way
Correct.
around, but do you see this at like, as you said, at
Yeah.
any level? So what?
So it's happening right now, like on tour, especially on the WTA tour. You have a lot of coaches that are, they're basically there for 6 months. They're there for 1 year. They're there for 3 months. They're there for like a 9-week retainer, and that's what Andrew Richardson, who was Emma's coach at the time when he took her to the U.S. Open and ended up winning, after she won, he was on a 9-week retainer with her.
Wow.
9 weeks. And it wasn't really a contract. So basically he said, let's see how this goes. And it was just an agreement, verbal agreement basically. And after she won it was like weeks after, she got rid of him. It was through a phone call. It was very impersonal. And I think it's just like, all right, well, we dispose of you. Let's see what's better out there. Now we won a U.S. Open. No, you stick with what
Right.
works.
Right.
Why are you disposing of coaches? And then, of course, between those 2 years, I mean, she's had surgeries and she's been through injuries. But now that she's had those injuries, she's seen herself get to that top level. And now it's hard for her to be like, because with that mentality, she's
I see.
thinking, look, I've dropped out of the top 100.
Right.
She's just lost in Madrid in April. That was like her first, and she got wiped. And it's hard for a player right now, like mentally, to be like, I won the U.S. Open. Why am I over here right now?
Right.
How am I getting out? So for her, it's basically like, let's go through the Rolodex of coaches and see who can bring me out of
Right.
my funk.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's sad to see, right? Because
Yeah.
there's so much potential. She's so young, and I think that's when, like another player like Carlos Alcaraz that is so young and having so much like consistent success. But I think that has to do a lot with the environment that he has with his team. You can see how
Correct.
it's like a family. The way Carlos Ferrero always stays so cool, and like you can see he's like, as you said, a mentor, right? It's almost
Yeah.
like a second dad that brings him
Correct.
down and keeps him on the ground, because you can see that your game
They're
can
so
only
close.
take you
Yep.
so far, right?
Yep.
And then it's all like who you are as a human being and how strong can you be and like be consistent on how you behave. So yeah, interesting story. I hope to see her back. Come
Yeah,
back.
it
Emma.
is. But
We
they're
need
like,
you.
yeah, like
I need you.
Carlos's environment is so stable. You can see it's so good. And obviously, his coach has been with him since he was like 16, 17, 16.
Do you think he's ever gonna get rid of him?
I don't think so. They're
It's
have,
interesting. I know,
they have
but
such
he's
a
so
good,
young, and
he trusts him so much. But look how far he's
but
come.
you can see that, like it's crazy, like what you see between them. It's like they're literally family.
Yeah.
They're like
But that's
It's
how
really
he
cool.
feels. He looks
so
at him
cool.
like a second dad.
so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
He trusts him.
Yeah, it's the trust.
It's the trust.
Yeah.
You could see they have such a strong bond. There's no discrepancy within that whole team.
Yes.
It's so stable, and that's what players need. They need stability.
Stability.
They need to know that when they come off the court, this person's going to take care of this person's going to take care of this. Like, everybody has each other's back, but the player needs to trust. They have to be invested within that team. Otherwise, if you feel like I like, okay, I'll see what I do in practice. I'll see, it's hard.
Yeah, it is. So going back to the question that it's my turn to ask. Jose wrote these questions, so I'm going to read off of it. I mean, I could actually just ask it, but it's kind of like cool. We recently had Juan Benitez on the podcast, and he described that in his experience, male players tend to be slightly more coachable and easier than female players, and believes hormones play a role in this too. What are your thoughts on which gender is easier for you to coach?
Well, I've had experience with both, and more, not so much on a one-on-one basis, but more like in an academy style where I've worked with boys, and I've worked with boys that transitioned then went to college, top colleges. So I coached them, one-on-one, but it was more academy environment. But of course, a lot of has to do with, I think, emotional maturity when it comes, because you can have young guys and it's very tough to work with them because they're just like emotionally, they're not stable and immature. And then you have girls who are extremely mature, but I think it's tough. It's a little harder with girls. But if you are a female coach, that's where it changes, I think, because a female can relate to a female, a male can relate to a male. And I think that's the difference when it comes to, you can work with female players because if you're a female, it's much easier. You understand when they're having their menstrual cycle, you understand when they have boyfriend problems, you understand when they have, problems at school, you understand anything, sleep patterns, everything, you can relate to them because you were there, and especially emotionally, you can relate as a female to another female when it comes to that.
Yeah.
That's a great answer.
That
That's a great answer. Yeah. Well, it makes total sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense because, I mean, most of my life, my first coach was a female coach. And then throughout my career, I had male coaches. In college, my assistant coach, Allison, she was great. I really connected with her. But like you said, it doesn't matter if a male coach says, "Oh yeah, I understand you're on your period right now."
Now
right?
go back on court and finish the practice.
No, you don't understand. No. You actually don't understand.
Because you've never had a menstrual cycle.
Because it's the pain and just the hormones and the emotions, you don't get it.
Correct.
You can say, yeah, you can push through it. No, I can't push through it right now.
That's right.
And if I'm there with you, you'll be like, I get it, Emma, sit down, or let's go, let's take an afternoon off.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
But a male coach will be like, oh, come on. I don't know, maybe not all of them. I'm not saying all of them, but so yeah, that's important. But then let's just tie to that. I'm missing the word. How do you say that? Let's just connect to the next topic then right away here. And that's why do you think, because you're a part of WTA Inclusion Program right now, what that program is exactly? Can you explain to us a little bit?
It's bringing female coaches to the tour, so to create a little bit more diversity and creating more a place for female coaches to enter the pro tour and coach. And especially on the WTA because it's all females, and it's only 13%, which is such a small percentage, have female pros.
That's crazy.
On tour.
But why?
And
why?
eight of those players are their parents, their mothers.
Okay, can we talk about this? Why? Why?
Because there's never been really. Have you seen in the past, let's say decade, right? Female pros come off the tour and go and coach?
No,
exactly.
Very.
Exactly. Moresmo, yeah, exactly. You had
Lizzie Davenport a little bit with.
Yeah, Madison, but you haven't had you don't. You have players who give back because they do a little bit more charity, and they go do and they do different things for kids up and coming, but you don't see them taking on players and coming back on tour and playing. So of course, all players, it's not like the female coaches are accessible. They're all unaccessible. So the first pro you go with is a male coach. And it starts with having a hitting partner. That hitting partner ends up becoming your coach. Or from there, it's well, I know this is the guy I used to work with. And that's how they kind of transition into, it's much easier for them. And they have them all, all up on the Rolodex to be like, all right, this is the coaches that we have. Let's throw you this coach and see how you vibe with them.
But do you think it's also because for female coaches, they decide to live that like family life maybe, and
Yeah, that has a lot to do with it.
You know,
Yeah.
they have kids, and so
Yeah.
they don't want to
Yeah.
be on tour.
Yeah, that has a lot to do with it. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
I
they're
feel like
not
that's
coming.
probably a big thing. I wish we could see more female coaches.
Well, I think with
there
this
on tour.
program, because this is the second year that the WTA has started, and last year was the pilot. This year is the first stage. Next year is going to be the third stage. So this is bringing inclusivity into this program, and it's opening doors for female pros to be like, you know what, we do belong out there because we're able to do the same job that a male coach can do with the same resume. We can do it as well.
Yeah.
We just need that opportunity. We need that door to be opened to the female pros for them to have enough confidence, because I don't think they're confident enough to be like, yeah, we can step in and do exactly just as good of a job as so-and-so, because we're just women. We can definitely do it.
God, we're so strong.
No, we are.
We are. And then also, where are you going next? You're going to
Montreal.
Montreal?
Yeah, for
And then
the Rogers Cup.
who are you paired up with?
Not sure yet, so I'll
You don't
find
know
out.
yet?
Not yet.
Or is it secret?
Ah,
You can
no.
say it here. So you're going to pair her up with a player there who is not coming with the coach, and she's going to coach that player
Oh, so
for the
cool.
WTA
Yeah.
tournament.
So cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. This is actually a great segue. That's what you were trying
Oh,
That's good.
to say. Yep.
That was the word, exactly.
segue?
Yes.
I would not even say that properly. I would be like, this is a good segue.
So it's a great segue for the next question. Do you believe that today there are still impediments and roadblocks for women in the world of tennis instruction? What are they, and what do you think they still exist, and what do you think are possible solutions?
Question.
Yes, Emma.
What does impediments means?
Impediments are
Like
the same thing as
roadblocks.
roadblocks. So
Okay,
like
so
things that
impediments and roadblocks. You could have just said roadblocks.
that's what I deal with every day.
Impediments.
Every
So
day.
it's a higher word. There we go.
This sounds great, actually. Good job.
thank
Your
you.
vocabulary is
Yes,
amazing.
yes. I mean, he came up with all those words. So see, there you go.
Yeah.
Yes and no. You see more females right now in the coaching world as far as club coaching, high performance coaching. There's starting to surface more and more, and I think there'll be a bigger wave coming in as this program takes off. And I think the more we put each other out there and the more we support each other as females, the more we're going to see a lot of more women coaching, and I think it won't be such a huge roadblock anymore. But I still think that, yes, we always have to prove ourselves when it comes to coaching and teaching. I've always had that issue, whatever club, whatever academy I was always at, I had to prove myself that I can hit. I had to prove myself that I can coach on every single level. And I see, I'm not generalizing to the guy side, but guys, it's so much easier. They look at the resume and it's like automatically, okay, yeah, you can coach.
Right.
You can do it.
Right.
But I think women have also the impediment where it comes to when an employer looks at them, thinks, okay, you are more like, a woman is more emotional. So we react and act based on our emotions.
Right.
But at the same time, it's also a good thing because we're able to read people and we're very intuitive when it comes to players, and we're very intuitive when it comes to the work environment. So I think it's a little biased that it's such a big discrepancy, like in numbers of, male to female ratios. But hopefully it will change.
Yeah. No, and I think it's great that I think this same thing is happening in a lot, right? You see it on the Soccer World Cup, like in a lot of areas, there's a lot of women empowerment now. And I think sometimes, in Mexico, we're living it with politics as well, but it's sometimes when the struggle, there's a little more struggle for someone to get somewhere, in this case, for women to get to like coaching positions, right? Good level of certain things. Sometimes the final product is better because there was that like fight, there was
struggle,
that
that's
grind,
right.
I feel like there's so much male coaches right now in the industry that it doesn't feel just too hard to get a job at a good, you know what I mean? Like if as you said, you have the experience, you have the like the papers, like to show that you can do something, you just get the job, and then it becomes almost like complacent, right? So there's no like drive to be the best coach you can be. It's like
Correct.
just I can get a job anywhere. Like I don't like this anymore, I'll go to another club.
Yeah.
I feel like women, since they're having this like to fight a little bit more, and as you said, prove yourself that you can do something. When you do get it, then you're trying to be the best version of yourself, you know, because you had to fight for it. I don't know.
Oh, no, I agree. And then there's also the part where, yes, you have the struggle, but then you have people where you work for somebody who believes in you, then it gives you that drive to be able to push yourself and become somebody, like if you want a director's position, or you want to be, you know, a top level coach in an academy, or run an academy, or a pro coach, whatever it is. If you don't have a positive environment around you, it doesn't matter how big the struggle is, you can never,
Right.
you're always going to be held back, constantly held back. So I think it also stems from the top,
Right.
and who works with you and who encourages you and pushes you to go to the next level, because then we end up basically kind of making lateral moves because we were not valued.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
And do you because let's just be like completely honest here. It's the same in the country clubs, it's the same in the academies. The road to the top, to be the director, to run an academy, to run the program as a female is so much more like
windy.
this than for a guy that's like, okay, you know, I was talking to somebody the other day too. I was actually meeting with the board of directors of the club where I work in. And I run the club there, which is so unusual for a 30-year-old female, because in every country club that you see, it's like 50 plus, like a male.
Yeah, you have to
Country
have a
club
lot of
director,
club experience.
right?
They look at all your experience.
Yes.
They look at your back.
Yes.
Of course.
But and here, you know, when I was in the meeting, you know, I'm being myself. I'm being confident. I know how much I'm worth. And that is what is important for us females to do, to put our step forward, and then to show that it's not just the looks or how we can play or this, because they see, okay, well, she's wearing a cute outfit, she's this, she's that, but they don't take you seriously, right?
Yeah.
It's so honestly discriminating, right? But when you actually start talking to them, and then when they see what you're all about business, you are actually a businesswoman. It's not just on the tennis court, but you can run a club, you can do different things. Then they're like, okay, but you need to be confident. Even when you don't feel like it,
You have to show that.
you have to show that. You have to show that. So many times I don't feel like it, and I feel insecure. I'm like, well, is this really like what, you know, where I'm supposed to, you know, maybe there's somebody, but no, I'm good enough for this. And I know, and I will show it, right?
Yeah.
So we need to really step for ourselves. And we talked also about women supporting women.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Big
a
time.
big
time.
subject,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean, I have to say it, like, she's always been the one that I followed and was like such a huge inspiration for me, because I'm thinking, you know, she's doing her own thing and she's growing so fast. Like, social media obviously helps so much for a business and for some like entrepreneurship, and for somebody who wants to grow and put themselves out there. And you have so many people, you know, pointing fingers, oh my gosh, like, look at her, you know, it's just like an Instagram, like, or she's just an influencer. No, she's actually growing her business, and that's to be admired and appreciated, because what are you doing?
Right. Yeah.
You're pointing fingers, but what are you doing?
Right.
So, you know, I love that she does that. I mean, it's just, it's amazing. And she's a mother, and she's running a business and coaching and wants to play on tour. Like, I'm like, can I do this? I can do this too, you
Yes,
know?
you're doing it.
You know, so how can you not be inspired, and how can you not, you have, like, women need to support each other so much more and not like tear each other down. You know, I think it would be, the world would be so much better, honestly, when it comes to the business side.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why, you know, Iris, you're older than me, but I look up to you, right? Like, when we're not going to like talk numbers,
Please don't. No, it's only 2.
but you're a mother, you're hustling all the time. You're growing. I mean, we met at the coaches conference.
That's right.
And what I love about you is that you're constantly growing. You're constantly looking for ways to network, to meet people, to educate yourself. You're PTR certified, USB, so many things, and you're constantly growing. And when I'm on court with you, I can always learn so much, and I'm not even gonna talk about how good you are.
Oh, thank
like we played today. Jose wants me to play with him more, but I'm like, I mean, Iris is like, just you have to step on the court with her and you will understand. She's a beast, a beast.
Wow.
So and the way she communicates, it's amazing. And I think you're on the right path. You know, for me, it's like doing all these things. I got out of my comfort zone. You know, I wasn't always like, but now I do it like like I just talk to this phone like all the time, all day, every day, and I don't
it's
care.
natural to you.
It's really
natural to you.
yeah. But you know, like this morning, a family from Dallas. They've been following. It was like so like inspirational to me because I'm like,
It's
okay, all of the
validating.
work that I'm putting in, it shows, you know, like, okay, last week that family for Nicaragua came to the summer camp because they've been following me on Instagram. This morning, family from Dallas came. The dad has been teaching her daughter based on my videos. And they came, she never took a private lesson. And they came
amazing.
from Dallas for an assessment to Wellington, Florida. You know, and it's like brings me chills. All of this stuff, it wasn't easy. I started like from nothing. And I grind, and I still grind on a daily basis, but I love it and I'm passionate about
That's
it.
right. That's
and
what
if
you
you're
do, yeah.
passionate about what you do, it's going to show and people are going to recognize it.
Yeah, correct.
Right? And for us, I'm not worried for us. For us, the future is bright. Like my shirt.
No, I completely agree. And like he said, the dad, he said like you bring so much energy, and you can see how much passion you have, and so passionate about what you do, and you also believe in what you're doing.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's not that you're trying to sell something; you're actually believing in what you're selling, and that is yourself.
Yes.
And having that validation from other people, it's giving me chills. It's rewarding.
It
you know,
is.
and like I want you to be proud of yourself because you're amazing. So I look up to you. You can look up to me too, but I look up to you.
This is very great. I love this. And Jose's in the middle. It's like, I'm looking up to both.
We gotta get him on the court now.
Yes. Yeah, you need to train with both. We can play S3 on the court.
Then that'll be fun.
Okay. Oh my God, we're running out of time. We have 5 minutes. Okay. I want to ask you, what is one advice that you would give to your younger self? And I know this,
You
and I
know
know you
this.
have opportunities, and tell me or tell the audience.
Take more risks. That's probably like I would say that, and that goes for anybody who misses on opportunities, and I think that wishes they took chances when they were given, and that the door was open and they decided to go a different way because they were scared. I think that for me, that's like one of my biggest regrets. And, that turned me away from going back on tour when I was super young. I had time to do it, and I got healthy, and I had a sponsor, and I decided to say no because my ego was hurt. And I didn't have the support, I think, morally, and enough for me to be like, you know what, like, let's go, let's do this. You got this. You're 21 years old. You can do it. It's not too late. But for me to think about, I have to do this all over again. I have to start training again. Like, and what if this happens again? If I would have taken that risk and then it wouldn't have not worked out, then then I could not be looking back right now and thinking, okay, well, there will be no regret.
Right.
Yeah.
So take risks for sure. I think it's basically I put in. I can't say that I didn't put enough work in. I did my best. I worked extremely hard. I listened very well, but I think when I had the opportunity, I turned my back on it. So
Yeah, that's huge. That is really huge. If you have more questions, let me know. But I have.
Go ahead.
What's one lesson your job has taught you that you think everyone should learn at some point in their life?
patience.
Patience. Oh my God. Yes.
So I also learned the act of listening without responding,
Yes.
and that goes on every level.
Yes. And you're really good at that. You're really good at that.
I've become good at that.
Yeah,
I used to be
yeah.
not so good at it, and now I can actually listen, and it's taken me so much further because I can understand, and that obviously on a pro level or a high performance level, I understand players so much better because I know exactly what they want, what they feel, and exactly with players who are people who are recreational and they want to learn and want to get better. Generally, they really want to get better. And it makes my job so much easier. But I think it's actively listening without being too quick to respond.
And I think it's also, I feel like everything has a double side to it. And people that like you guys that have a lot of drive, and you can see the same passion in some younger players as well that have such a desire to be better in the court. It also tends to come with a little bit of impatience, right? They want quick fixes and they want to get better so quickly, which is a good thing to, as long as you can balance it with learning to be patient and enjoy the process, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So I think sometimes the more passionate players have that impatience that needs to be worked on, so they know there's no quick fix, right? There's no quick.
There's no quick road. There's no quick, exactly. There's no quick fix to anything. You have to put in the work, like you said. You have to enjoy the process, and as long as you know that you're working on certain things and not 20, then you can definitely,
move forward.
Great. That's right.
What's the number one thing a WTA player should focus on? Doesn't matter. Whatever you think. It can be in the game and anything. Like
at this present time, creating a very strong relationship with their team.
Okay, good. And the question that I'm going to close out with, because this podcast it's kind of like, it's talking, how I started this podcast, and my goal was like to talk to people, not just tennis people, but kind of like everyone to, to figure out the balance in life, how they find balance in life. I remember this was like 20 episodes ago. And I really want to always like ask that question. Like we're all trying to find some kind of balance in life, between work, family, running here, running there, social life, this and that. Like, how do you find yours? How do you find that peace, that balance? How do you balance everything?
I think it has to do with creating boundaries and also very much being consistent with what I'm doing and prioritizing what I want to do and where I want to be. So I think that's what brings me peace and balance when it comes to my life, my work. So that's, I think.
I love that. Boundaries. I'm really big on that currently. Today.
Well, that was amazing. Iris, thank you so much.
You.
That was fantastic. I think it's one of the most fun episodes we have and more like natural and enjoyable. It was great. Really cool to have you guys together and see such an amazing friendship and like mentorship relation that you guys have going on. I'm sure a lot of people and young girls are going to be inspired by this big time.
We hope so. That's what we hope for.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
Yeah, no, you guys are a great woman to look up to. So thank you for listening, guys, and we'll see you next episode for another cool guest.
Today's episode is sponsored by MatchSet. MatchSet is an amazing company that provides players with incredible equipment and apparel. With MatchSet, equipment does matter, and they make sure it won't slow you down.
Use code TennisWithEmma to get 10% of Match Tennis today.
Thank you so much for supporting and listening to our podcast. Make sure to follow us on social media.
And be sure to listen to next week's episode of the EMAzing Tennis Podcast.